All right, y'all, we're here at Starmount Forest Country Club, Greensboro, North Carolina, episode 12, Behind the Gate, Greensboro-based podcast. We've got my good friend, Savio Nazareth. He's the head professional at Starmount. It's a 2016 PGA Sectional Player of the Year, 2001, 2002 ODAC Player of the Year at Guilford College. It's a member of the Guilford College Hall of Fame Athletics inductee. I butchered that, but he's in the Hall of Fame at Guilford College for athletics. Five-time PGA Tour participant, and he also holds the course record here at Starmount. Nice little 59 action. Savio, thank you for being here, buddy.
Glad to be here, Andrew. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Also, longtime personal friend, most importantly. Savio, let's go back to, I believe, 1995, and let's talk there. Start with your story on how you came here from Tanzania to, I believe, Florida.
Yes, sir. So moved to the U.S. in 1995. I actually came on a visit to visit my brother in Orlando, and we were here, and it was probably about 2 more weeks before our trip ended, and we were heading back home, and sat at the dinner table, and my dad wanted to talk to me, and he basically told me that I was going to be staying longer. At the time, right away, my initial kind of excitement was, sweet, I'm going to be here a little longer in the U.S., a little longer vacation. But not knowing him and my brother had already been talking about me staying here permanently and going to high school here, and that way college coaches and all that could kind of see me playing golf and, eventually hopefully was looking to get a scholarship to go to college somewhere.
Nice. So in 1995, when you moved here, were you already in high school or were you going into high school?
I was going to go into high school, my junior and senior year of high school.
Okay.
When I moved here, I was 15 years old when I moved here, so I was getting ready to go into my junior year of high school here.
Okay. How was that transition?
It was a very hard transition. Moving here, when my dad told me I was going to be staying here, it was kind of my first instinct was cool. But then when I realized why I was staying here, it was like I was leaving all my friends behind. Any kind of my personal belongings that I had, I didn't have any of that stuff, right? I had my golf clubs, my clothes, and all that stuff. I was basically going to be starting a new life here with my brother being my basically guardian or my parent here. Going into high school, I went to a private school back home, which is first grade through 12th grade, that had about 500 kids, to a high school in 9th through 12th grade, had 4,500 kids.
Shit.
It was it was like a mini college campus. The classes were spread out a little bit, but it was a really big school and a huge culture shock for me.
Yeah. I would imagine so. So did you... Not to just jump right into golf, we're going to jump into golf. Did you, at that point in your career, were you already breaking par?
I was right around par, maybe a couple over par. And then I moved here, and, the quality of golf courses here are completely different. Way better conditions, had to get, acclimated with everything, the grasses, the greens, how big some of the greens were, bunker conditions. I mean, it was just, thick roughs. It was a lot to kind of, get myself used to. Golf in Florida is a spring sport. So that semester, obviously, my first semester was getting to know the coach a little bit, talk to him about me wanting to try out for the team. I had to try out for the team. I did make the team. I was on the top 5. Played anywhere between number 4 or 5 on the team when I made the team. So it was a really good high school, Dr. Phillips High School. Our home course, fortunate enough, was Bay Hill. So got to play
bad,
that.
Right?
Got to play that every day. Obviously, growing up in Tanzania, watching that tournament on TV, and then all of a sudden I get to play that golf course every day was pretty special.
Heck yeah. So you started your collegiate career down in Florida, correct?
I did. I looked to try to go to some big schools, and obviously at the time, being an international student, there was not a lot of scholarships for international students. So it was teams already had kids from other countries and overseas, so they had international students. A lot of the coaches told me I could try to walk on and go that route. I decided to go to a junior college, Brevard Community College in Cocoa Beach, Florida. I was there for 2 years, and then after 2 years, I didn't have any schools pick me up, so I basically took a year off, just took some classes, and would just pretty much play golf and practice golf every day. The coach at my junior college let me play and practice with the team still, and he got a call about they were trying to recruit another kid from the junior college up to Guilford College. And that kid was not really fond of looking forward to going to Guilford or anything like that. So my coach told the coach of Guilford about me. I came and visited Guilford and all that, and really liked it. It was a small campus. Coach Jack Jensen, he's the one who recruited me and got me up here to come to Guilford. It was kind of one of those things. It's a private school. They don't really do athletic scholarships, but they found monies for kids that were from Tanzania and academics and all, and that's how I got into Guilford.
Speaking of academics, I mean, you were a straight A student, right? You don't have to lie. It's okay.
Close, but not quite, Everybody at, college graduates, summa cum laude. I graduated thank you laude. I was just happy to be there, and I did get my college degree, so I'm happy and happy about that.
Awesome. So you guys were you were Conference Player of the Year 01, 02?
I was Conference Player of the Year 2 years in a row at Guilford. Had the lowest stroke average while I was at Guilford. I think that record's been broken ever since. I don't know who it is off the top of my head. In 2002, we won the national championship. It was out in Nebraska. We just played lights out, and we won it. So, winning a national championship in college, doesn't matter what division. There's always good teams out there that you got to beat. So winning that was huge.
Absolutely. You still rock your national championship ring?
I have it at home. I'll wear it every now and then. Not a lot, but it's just kind of a prized possession. I just kind of keep it.
Yeah.
But I have worn it a couple times out to, different events.
When you're trying to flex on people and just be like,
a little bit, maybe.
I feel you. So moving past Guilford College, obviously you had a fantastic college career there. Conference Player of the Year a few times, national championships like you talked about. And, we spoke about you and that team being inducted into the Guilford College Hall of Fame in 2012. Let's talk about after you graduated college and moving back down to the Florida area to start a professional career in golf.
So after I got done with Guilford, I always knew I wanted to play professionally. My goal and dream was to try to make it to the PGA Tour. As you know, and everybody knows, it's hard to get there. Even back then, it was hard to get there. So I started playing mini tours, played the Hooters Tour down in Florida. It was a winter series for 2.5 years. I played down there. It was fun. My third event out, I won, cashed in a check of $10,000, and kind of used that money to keep paying for all my events. I didn't have any sponsors. I did everything out of my own pocket. So I'd work at night and play golf during the day, just so I can make some money and play in events. I had a portable cooker. I'd go to Sam's or Costco and buy the ramen noodles. Couldn't afford, food and all that stuff. So I lived on ramen noodles for a good 9 months sometimes, and that's all I'd eat.
A lot of sodium there.
A lot of sodium, I was young, I was walking, so I was burning a lot of it off. But, 2 events I remember clearly. It was I just barely had enough money to pay for the entry fee and maybe a little bit of food, but I knew my backup was peanut butter and jelly or ramen noodles. But I slept in my car in 2 events. Didn't have enough money to get a hotel room, and played a practice round, drove around, and parked my car in the parking lot of the golf course and stayed the night there, and got up the next morning early and went to the locker room, and once the clubhouse opened, and took a shower and everything. But it wasn't something that I advertised. Hey, I slept in my car last night. I just had to do what I had to do. I mean, it's a grind out there. You hear a lot of stories of different mini tour players that have gone through situations like that and slept in the car and drove all night to get to a site for a qualifier or something like that. It's without sponsors, it's very hard to do things. So,
would you say that the championship you had, you said your third tournament, was that your biggest win during that period of your life?
That was my biggest win. It was a huge win for me. Obviously, winning a purse of $10,000 back then was a lot of money, and I saved a lot of it to, like I said, to help me kind of pay for my entry fees, my gas, and all that stuff. So,
would you say that the car experience you had, again, coming from a golf background and never being on that level, but understanding what some guys have gone through that I've known, do you feel like that was more normal than people would think, the sleeping in the car and just barely being able to make it to each tournament, or do you think that was specific?
No, I think it was specific. Back then, it was hard to try to play mini tours and make it. Now mini tours, it's a little different. Guys have sponsors. Companies want to help them out. You either got your mom and dad helping you out. There's ways and avenues for you to get sponsorships. Back then, it was very hard. It was very hard to get sponsorships. So, I had to do, if this was a career that I wanted to pursue, I had to try to figure out ways of how I was going to pay for it.
Yeah, and I in no way, shape, or form meant to downplay the struggles you went through. For those that see all the glitz and glamour of the PGA Tour and now the Live Tour and all this money that goes around, like, I don't think that the average golfer or person understands what some of the guys went through to really get there.
I mean, you look at some of the stories of guys on PGA Tour in order for them to get there. I mean, once you're on the PGA Tour, you're making decent money as far as sponsorships and all that. Trying to make it from the mini tours to there, it's a hard journey and a long journey.
I mean, heck, somebody was telling me one time, for these guys and gals that are trying to gear up to go to big schools and they're playing these amateur schedules and these junior events and these AJGAs, that in some cases their tournament schedule and their travel and their entry fees and everything that goes into it can almost be six figures just for an amateur or junior to play a full tournament schedule.
Yeah, if you want to be one of the top junior players to get recognized by big colleges and all, yes, you have to play events like the AJGA to get, world ranking points. So, college coaches can look at you and say, man, that, this kid's really been playing well in these big events. They don't look at the little events. They may, some schools, small schools, a D2 or D3 may look at that stuff. Yeah. But a lot of D1, big D1 schools, they want to know what big events you've played in, where you finish, and, that determines whether you get a scholarship there or not.
It's crazy. All right, well, let's shift back up to Greensboro. So we've come over from Tanzania. We've spent some time in high school and early college career in Florida. We've come up to Guilford College, crushed the golf course, and we're back down. We've done some good things on the mini tour, had some wins, had some losses, and it's about 2005, and now we're back in Greensboro again at Starmount Forest. Take us through the weeks leading up to you getting your career started here, and then kind of how it started here.
So basically moved up to Greensboro. I was dating a girl at the time, and she was up here.
Following a woman.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
So moved up here and, just kind of decided I wanted to be up here and closer to her. And it was just kind of one of those things that, I had to find a job. Played 2.5 years on the Hooters Tour and didn't make a lot of money in 2.5 years. So I had to...
Can we pause for a second right now? Now, for those of you who, because this has been a number of years ago, can you kind of describe, like, the level of the Hooters Tour? Now we have the PGA and the Korn Ferry, and, like, where did the Hooters Tour kind of fall in line with that?
So that was probably, I would say, it was probably PGA Tour, Korn Ferry, or maybe Nationwide it was called back then.
I think it was
Hooters
Nationwide.
Tour was, pretty much below it. I played the Winter Series. There was a regular Summer Series also, which was kind of the main thing. If I had to guess, it was probably a step below the Korn Ferry Tour.
Okay.
A lot of guys that got onto the Korn Ferry played on the regular season. I couldn't afford to play the whole season. I played the Winter Series basically. A little cheaper it was. Good number of events. So that's what I did.
Okay.
Just to do.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted, for those of you guys that are watching that don't know him, he's really good at golf and has been really good. So I want to showcase that as much as we can. We'll touch back on that a little bit later. So 2005 Starmount, we're here. You've traveled up this way to be with your girlfriend. Take it from there.
So went out looking for a job, and it's Starmount. I came here. I went to the Cardinal, went to Sedgefield, went to Old Town, went to Forsyth Country Club. Nobody was really looking to hire. And when I came to Starmount, I left my resume with a pro at the time. And this was like a Tuesday. And Sunday, I packed my car up to head back home to Orlando, and I got the call about if I would like to still come out for an interview for a job. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And he said, when can you be here? And I said, I'll be there tomorrow morning, which was Monday morning. And I was supposed to be heading back down to Orlando. So came here for an interview Monday morning, met with head guy professional at the time. And then about 2.5 weeks went by, and I hadn't heard anything. So I called up here to find out, what was going on. And he said, yeah, I've been meaning to call you. When can you come for a second interview? And basically came up here, did a second interview, met with some board members. They offered me the job right away. I had 2 weeks to go back home to Orlando, pack all my stuff up, and move back up here. So started here in April of 2005, and I've been here ever since. It's, 19 years later, I'm here.
I didn't realize we were shooting this on your 19th year anniversary month. Do you know the day, or is it just
the 19th? I think it was of April.
Man, we're almost 19 years on the number.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool to hear. Man, it seems so long. I remember back then. It doesn't feel like it's been 19 years, although I guess it does feel like it's been 19 years. But anyway, we're glad that you came back here. Let's fast forward again. Thank you for sharing that. Let's fast forward to 2016. 2016, being a personal friend, I understand that 2016 was a very difficult year. You also had a lot of wins that year. Let's start with some of the adversity and loss that you had to deal with in that year.
So 2016, February of 2016, I lost my mom. My mom was kind of one of my biggest cheerleaders. I talked to her every day when I drove to work in the mornings. And so I lost her February 5th of 2016. And 5 months later, July 5th, I lost my brother in Orlando. It was just kind of two of my biggest supporters were not there anymore. And it was a very rough time. Didn't really feel like doing anything. Didn't feel like playing golf. Nothing really mattered to me anymore. I came, did my job here at work, and just looked forward to leaving work and going home and just kind of doing me. It was hard. I knew I had to just somewhat try to get back to normalcy as far as playing golf again and something I cared about. And I did. I played a few events before, right after that in kind of August it was. And then September, played in the section championship down in Wilmington. Never seen the golf course. It was at landfall. Go down the first day and, didn't play real well. I shot I think it was 75 or 76. Didn't play real well. Second day I go out and shoot 65. And so I was leading the tournament. I was tied for the lead in the tournament. End up the last day getting a playoff. And it was, just first hole playoff. I ended up making a par, and the other guy made a bogey and won the section championship, which is one of the biggest events we have in the Carolina section. I was pumped up about it, but of course, it was kind of one of those things. I didn't have my mom and my brother there, so it was really rough. But I was excited. So driving home from Wilmington that day, obviously I knew winning the section championship gave me one PGA Tour exemption, which is I could pick which one I wanted to do, whether the Wyndham or the Wells Fargo. As I was driving home, I got the phone call from the Carolinas PGA saying that with that win gave me enough points to be section play of the year. So that means I get to play now in two PGA Tour events. So I get to play in both the Wyndham and the Wells Fargo in 2017, which was awesome. Yep. Really awesome. So,
and that was correct me if I'm wrong, that the Wells Fargo is normally at Quail Hollow.
It is. Wells Fargo is normally at Quail Hollow. In 2017, the PGA Championship was at Quail Hollow, and they moved the Wells Fargo to Wilmington to Eagle Point.
That's a nice place.
That is a really nice golf course too. Yes.
Yeah. What do you like better, Quail or Eagle Point?
I love Eagle Point. I just think Eagle Point's awesome. It's it's a hard golf course, but it's not crazy. I mean, they're both great golf courses. Quail's a hard golf course too. It's long. Got to understand something. Playing this PGA Tour golf courses, they're long.
Yeah.
Guys on the tour, they just bomb the ball. They hit it a long way, so they got to figure out ways of how to protect the golf course. And one way they've figured something out is lengthening the golf course, making it hard and firm on the greens.
Yeah.
So
let's go back to Quail Hollow in that same year. You also had a pretty cool experience. I was fortunate enough to be involved in this experience with you.
Yeah. So
you got a phone call pretty late Saturday night?
Pretty late Saturday. It was Saturday afternoon, the week right before the Wyndham started that following week, Monday. I get the call Saturday afternoon. telling me that they had an odd number in the PGA Championship in the final round, and they wanted me to play as a marker, non-compete marker, in the first group off that morning because there was only one tour guy that was going to be teeing off. And, I accepted to play, and obviously I gave you the phone call because you were caddying for me that following week in the Wyndham.
Mm-hmm.
And I called you about caddying for me and going down to Quail on that Sunday to play a practice round, and you said, yes, we'll go down there. It was a cool experience, though. Was paired with Charles Howell that morning. We drove early morning. I had a courtesy call already from the Wyndham. We drove down. If you remember, Andrew, as we were driving down, we had all the security people already knew what car I was in. They were just waving us through.
Yep.
We got there. Carolina's PGA, Jeff Abbott, was there to meet me in the parking lot. Went into the locker room. We both had our credentials already on badges. He handed them to us. You got to go to the caddy area where all the caddies were. I went to the locker room, had my name on the locker already. I got one of the players' badge for the week as if I played in the PGA Championship all week long. It was just a cool experience. We're the first ones out. Charles Howell and I announced us on the tee box like I was playing the event, but I was just a marker. And it was just the coolest experience playing a major championship in the final round, even though my score didn't count that day.
Yeah. It to your point, it was an incredible experience. Your badge credentials got you in a lot cooler places than I did, but not that I'm complaining, but I remember I think we saw like Adam Scott on the range.
So Adam Scott, we saw Justin Thomas that day before he goes out and wins the tournament.
Yeah.
We got to see him. We saw Ricky Fowler. We saw a bunch of guys, tour guys, and
absolutely,
it was just neat. Like, we were there playing with these guys in the final round of the PGA Championship. So
I tell you, I didn't know much about Charles Howell going into that, but what a nice guy. And he said something to you coming off, I think, the first either tee box or green.
We came off the first green. I hit a really good drive there, and I had a 5-iron in into that par 4. And, I thought I hit a good drive, but still had a long shot in. And I hit it in the left bunker, and I don't think we got up and down. I think I made bogey in that first hole. Coming off that green, Charles looked at me and says, just try to play for par, just hit the greens and try to two-putt everything. This golf course is really hard, and the greens are really firm.
Yeah.
But, the whole way around the golf course, he talked to us like he knew us forever. He just kind of talked to us. It wasn't like, oh, you're a marker, I'm not going to pay attention to you. But he really made me, I know that, feel special being out there playing.
Yeah, I mean, and I think he specifically remember him telling you, like, treat this like you're playing in a tournament. You're playing in the Wyndham next week. Like,
and that's exactly what he said.
Use this as practice.
That's exactly what he said. Use this as practice. Get used to the conditions. Next week's going to be about the same, and just enjoy the moment of being out here.
I tell you, that was something special. I barely made it around. There's some jokes in a newspaper article somewhere that comments on that. But what an incredible experience to just be out on a Sunday in the PGA Championship.
It was. Gosh, seeing the crowds out there. Obviously nobody knew who I was. It was just wild, just being there.
Anyway, I appreciate you tagging or bringing me along for that. And so, kind of all those PGA events. Is there any other experiences from the Wells Fargo that year down in Wilmington to the Sunday marking for Charles Howell, and then the Wyndham you played in 4 times, I believe?
4 times I played the Wyndham. I've Monday qualified in 3 times, and then obviously I got the exemption in for 17. But the Monday qualifying part for the Wyndham was the hardest. It's hard to get in. You've got about 50 to 70 guys that are doing the Monday qualifier. You got tour guys there, and they only take the top 4. So, you've got to shoot 65, 64 to try to get in. You got to make birdies out there. You can't make pars.
Yeah.
Shooting even par or 1 or 2 or 3 under is not going to get you in. You literally got to go 5 to 7 or 8 under to get in on a Monday qualifier.
And you did that 3 times?
I did it 3 times. First time I qualified for the Wyndham was in 2008 out of Greensboro Country Club. 2011 and 12 was out at Forest Oaks. So it's been a really, great journey overall.
Is there any one particular moment out of all those that really sticks out to you?
2012, I think it was a pretty cool year. Monday qualifying in that. Had a buddy of mine caddying for me and made the turn at 1 under and then get to number 10, and I think I made double there. And then I was one over par real quick. I birdied the next hole to get to even, I think. And then I went par and a par 5, and it was kind of one of those things. I don't have many holes left, and it was kind of like, okay, I got to get something going. And I think I went eagle, birdie, 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 birdie finish that day. And I was going to the last hole. We were the last group of the day, and the rules official came up to ask and was talking to my buddy who was caddying for me, and the other caddy said, hey, is anybody in this group playing good? And I said, yeah, that guy's like 5 under right now. And they were like, oh, okay, because right now 5 under is in a playoff or something like that. And he never said a word to me. I striped the drive down the middle, hit it on the green, and made a great putt for birdie. And I was like, we'll see. And he goes, we're in. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, that rules official said 5 under was going to be in a playoff, 6 under would be in. And made that birdie putt, and I got in there, and sure enough, there was one guy that shot 7 under. I think I was at 6, and then the playoff was at 5 under.
Shit.
It was just just an awesome day.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, and again, I've been able to watch some of that very up close and personal as a caddy, and then a lot of it from afar. It's always been, and I hope to see you back there soon. But it's always been fun to root you on, and then, having you here at Starmount, which, we'll kind of circle back to that. Growing up here, Dad was a member since '82. Meeting you when you came in, having the opportunity to know you from here, and then out in the world as a friend, it's just been a pleasure having you around. So let's come back to your position here at Starmount. What year did you take over as the head professional?
So I took over March of 2018. I took over as a head golf professional. Went through an interview that had a bunch of candidates in for the job. I obviously was one of the candidates. Went through a long process of interviews. Told them exactly what my vision was, what I wanted to do while I was here as a head golf professional. I ended up getting the job. Started March 1 of 2018 as a head golf professional. And I love Starmount. This club has just been really, really good to me personally. The membership here is truly like family. They're all members. They pay a lot of money to be a member here. There's a level of service that is expected, but at the end of the day, a lot of them and most of our members, they treat you like family here.
Yeah. What would you say is one of the more unique parts of the membership at Starmount?
They care about us as employees here. It's not one of those, you're just an employee here. They care about you. They care what you're doing outside of Starmount, whether it's a golf career, your family, all that stuff. They care to know what's going on. They have, interest in knowing what your family's doing, your kid, or anything like that. It's not about, oh, you're just an employee here. Check me in. I'm going out to play golf.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to buy this shirt, or I'm just coming here to eat dinner and just leave me alone. You know what I mean? They truly want to make conversations with you, and, members come in and just sit in my office and want to talk, which is special. My door's always open. I love it when some of my members come by and, just want to sit down and chat about anything.
Yeah.
So it just makes this place very special. Our membership here is not a hoity-toity membership. It's a true country club, but our membership here is just very relaxed and enjoy the atmosphere that we have here to offer them.
I would agree with that. I think that's a good description. You touched on your family, and I know that this career can be very demanding hours. I've often joked with some people that the golf business can be one of the most overworked, underpaid positions that you can create a career out of. And, I know to get to the level you're at, there's a little bit more fruit on that tree, but getting there, being an assistant pro and whatnot, it's so demanding. How do you find time in that, and now where you're at, to balance that work life and still be able to make your son's baseball games and give your wife time and all that good stuff?
It's very hard. My son plays travel baseball. A lot of his tournaments are on the weekends. It's local travel, so he plays out in Mocksville, Clemens, Kernersville, down in Asheboro, here in Greensboro. We do one overnight a year. He's gone. When he was 10, we were down in Charleston, 11, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and last year up in New York, which is probably by far the coolest trip ever. He got to go play in Cooperstown.
Wow.
We were up there for 5 days playing baseball, and he had to stay on property. We stayed off property, but the only time we saw him was when we went to his games. Just a neat experience for him as a 12-year-old, and a really awesome experience for us too. I try to make it as much as I can to games. We don't have much going on here as far as events. A lot of our member events and tournaments are on the weekends. But when we don't have events here and he's got games and I can make it to them, I'm going to definitely try to make it there. He played middle school ball last year, and I tried to make it to as many games as I could then too, because we also got stuff going on during the week. So it's hard at times. It just gets, I feel like I'm not around a lot for him sometimes to make it to games. He does understand that, but it took a lot for him to understand. It was almost a teachable moment, him teaching me. For a while there, it was me, when I did go to his games and he didn't perform, it was me yelling at him kind of sort of thing. And he kind of opened my eyes to some things. Instead of me going out to his games and enjoying being there and enjoy the time with him and watching him, it was more of him thinking that he had to prove a point to me to like him more or enjoy his games more. But he worded it in a way that it kind of hit home, where he asked me that I play golf. I play in golf tournaments. I don't always win. But when I get home, he doesn't look at me and tell me that I suck. Right? Mm-hmm. That was kind of me telling him every time he struck out, missed the ball when it came to him, or made an error or something. It was me getting upset at him and jumping all over him. And we had that conversation. It was at the dinner table. And I told him ever since that day that I'd promise him I'd be one of his biggest cheerleaders. When I came to games, I'd support him and cheer for him no matter what happened. And I think that changed our relationship. Got a little bit, a lot better. For me, I enjoy going to his baseball games, win or lose. He makes an error, strikes out. He can get back at it.
Yeah.
So it's made it a lot fun for me to go to baseball games, as opposed to me having anxiety going to baseball games, hoping my son performs well. So.
Well, I think that's an incredible story and a lesson to us all. I would like to think that when Cohen's old enough to play organized sports, golf, baseball, whatever that would be, that I would also approach with that, although I'm sure I'm going to be the same way at some point. What'd you miss that 3-footer for?
You think about yourself, you think about me. I've played sports at a high level. Expectations are a little bit higher. We want to do well. Yep. We expect our kids to do the same thing, be like us, play well. Don't be lazy, do stuff. But we're not in that moment. I never played baseball growing up.
Yep.
I know it's a hard sport. And, not everybody's going to be like, my son's not going to be like me. When he chose to play baseball, I was kind of excited. He's not going to follow my footsteps. Some people are like, what do you mean you're not going to play the same sport I did? You know what I mean? And I was excited for him to do something different, but I approached it in the mentality that I had: play hard, don't try not to make errors, and it's all about how you look, performance, and maybe it was an image also how I looked, how he was making me look if he made an error.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be the case. It should be like, it's all about the kids. They're kids at the end of the day. They're still learning. How did I perform when I was 12? I don't know. I can't remember, right? So it really opened my eyes and changed the way and perspective about how I watch him play sports, and I let him enjoy sports.
Yeah.
Make it fun for him and make it fun for me too.
That was going to be my last question on that. Do you feel like you've enjoyed the experience more now that you're not putting?
Honestly, I truly love the experience now.
Yeah.
I have no pressure to put on myself, especially because sometimes it would give me anxiety when he got up to bat. Like, yeah. I don't want to see my son strike out. People are looking at me, that's his dad right there. are they really looking at me that way? Are they making fun of my son? You know what I'm saying? That was kind of one of the things that was in my mind. But, looking back now on that stuff, we all make mistakes. They're going to happen. But I think I added more pressure to him to perform and prove to me that he's good.
Yeah.
Instead of letting him enjoy the game as a kid. And like I said, it's been an eye-opener for me. He really, truly opened my eyes, and it's changed my thought process going to anything for any games, whether it was middle school last year and travel baseball now. I love going to go watch him play. Like I said, we all make mistakes, right? It's just how you overcome those mistakes and what you take away from them.
Certainly. Well, we'll wrap with this one more question. 19 years here at Starmount, it's definitely been a better place because you've been here. I can tell you that wholeheartedly. What do you feel like looking back on those 19 years, obviously with many more to come? What do you feel has been some of your more memorable moments and greatest accomplishments here at the club?
Memorable moments here is just like I said earlier, the membership here is, I've seen it at its lowest, I've seen it at its highest, but with the management team we have now and some of our general managers we've had here, it's a club that's a growing club. We want to be a premier club in the Triad. The members that come here expect a level of service, and we try to do better every single day and make sure as a member that comes out here, they enjoy the experience here. When I look back at memorable moments of being here and just seeing the growth of this club from when I first started here in 2005 to today, you look at this whole campus and look how beautiful it is. All the different things, all the upgrades we've done.
I mean, yeah, look where we're sitting.
We're sitting down at the pool right now. It's just, this was a little tiny pool back in the day when I started here. And now it's just absolutely beautiful. The whole premises is beautiful. We're going into renovation year next year, 2025, with the whole golf course renovation. We've moved up on the Triad rankings for the golf course. I mean, at one time we were nowhere in the top 100. We've moved up slowly. We have now moved up to number 30 in Triad Business Journal golf course rankings in North Carolina. Wow. We're number 30. So it's come a long way, with the way the golf course is. Our superintendent, him and his whole team do a great job. Our management staff inside with the food, my chef, everybody does a great job here. And I'm thankful for the staff that I work with, and I'm thankful to be working for a membership like Starmount.
Awesome. Well, we're thankful you're here too, man. You've been a blessing to us. It's been an incredible journey watching your accomplishments over the years, and hopefully some more to come. So I just want to say thank you for I know you're a busy guy. Thank you for giving us some time today to kind of hear your story and providing us this beautiful backdrop to film episode 12. And y'all, Savio Nazareth, thank you.
No, thank you very much for letting me be on the show. So I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right. Next time.